Hi everyone. Over the course of this video, we will be reviewing some of the general settings and components on Microsoft Word. So to begin Microsoft Word, you can find it usually in your startup menu. You can just click right up there. And it will bring you to this page where you can either use one of these templates. I don't usually recommend the templates on Word, but usually you can just create your own document. And once you create your own document, it will bring you to the Microsoft Word ribbon, is what they call these options. They are also known as a toolbar. And what you can do here, it goes over all of the different fonts, the different paragraph settings, the different styles that you can pick for your words, as well as some editing options. Here, these are all of the different things that you can insert into your Microsoft Word document. We'll be going over all of these more in depth later in the video. This tab is the page layout tab. So this goes over the different themes, margins and settings, how many columns this document will be, indentation, paragraph, and all of that. Here is the references page. This is where you would insert citations, footnotes, and captions. In the mailings, this is where you would use a mail merge. You can also make envelopes and labels. Review, this is the tab where you would make track changes. So this is any type of editing that you would do on your document can be done from this panel. The view is just the different ways that you would see the Microsoft Word document. And Acrobat is how you create PDFs from your Word. So if we go back to the Home tab, I want to show you a little bit of what's going on down here. Down here on the left it says page 1 of 1. So this will tell you if you have a document with, say, 30 pages. This will tell you what page number you are currently on wherever your cursor is. This here keeps a word count of how many words are in the document. And right here is constantly checking for proofing errors. So if you see a little red squiggly line under a word that's spelled wrong, that's what that means. Down here, this is just a different way to view the documents, which is also something that you can do up here in the View tab. And here, you can zoom or zoom in to see the words bigger or smaller. So this is just another way to view the document. So to start on this Home tab, here you can change the font. Font is very important, especially in a business document. You really shouldn't be using fonts like Comic Sans MS for a business document. This just doesn't look professional. I usually say stick with something like Times New Roman or Arial or Georgia font. Any of those are more appropriate for business documents. Here you can change how large the font is. Just by clicking that, can make it bigger, and this can make it smaller. Right here you could change if it's all uppercase, lowercase. This is just how a regular sentence would be. You could capitalize each word, toggle case. Some of those options are really helpful. You can also click on this to make it bold. You can also click Control B, hold both of those down at the same time, and that will also make it bold. Italicize, if you hit Control I, you can italicize, and underline is Control U, and it will underline whatever you've selected. This is just to strike out. This is used for subscript and superscript. This is different text effects. Again, this is probably not something you'll need for a business document, but it is good to know. It changes what the text looks like. And say I do something and I'd like to undo it, I would just go right up here to the undo text effect, and it's back to normal. Paragraph is a really important part of this toolbar. So this is where you can either bullet your information, and here you can choose what kind of a bullet you want. You can also change the list level here. So if I have a list of a lot of different things and I have subsets within that list, I can change my levels. here is where I can use a numbered list. Again, different types of numbered lists, however you want it to look, maybe ABCs, Roman numerals. And these are just what the current subset lists are. You can change these, you can change list levels, you can define new list styles, however you would prefer to do that. Right here, this aligns the text, so I'm going to highlight Business Computers. This is left aligned right now. If I want to center the document, I would click on the center align. If I want to align my text to the right hand side of the page, I would click on that. And this one is to justify, so what this does, as you type something in, it will justify it throughout the whole line. So usually what we would use is align left. Sometimes if it's, the title of a document, you might want to center it. Here you can double space, single space your lines. So that just is how much space you want in between each of the lines that you write. And then here is the different background themes that you can have. Again, something you're probably not going to use very much in a Microsoft Word document, but good to know. And here are different borders. These styles, these are just different ways that the text can look. You can change styles, you can add different styles. They give you a lot of options that are already put in here. You can make them your own, however you want to do that. Another feature, an editing feature that's really important, if I have a 30-page document and I want to find a particular word that I use a lot, all I would have to do is I would click on Find, and I can type it in, and my word will be highlighted in the document however many times it's in there. Now if I want to replace the word computers with computer, I can do that as well. So I would just type in what the word is currently, and I want to change it to computer. I can replace it. Find next. So there's only one option there. So this will replace it. The next thing I wanted to show you guys is the Insert tab. So right here you can insert a cover page. This is sometimes important for some sort of a research paper. There's a lot of options here on what you can insert. If you wanted to insert a blank page, so you would just add another page to the document. So see, we've added our second page. Or if you want, you're typing something and you want the page to break right there, you can just click page break and it will start onto another page. You can also insert tables, and you would do that just by picking how big you wanted this table to be, and it will insert it for you and it will center the text. Here you can do the different table styles depending on what it is that you're looking for. And you can kind of play around with the borders and the shading techniques there. So if I go back to insert, I'm just going to get rid of my table. Here I can insert a picture from a file that I have. I can insert clip art. Again, not something you'll really be using in a business setting, but is definitely helpful to know. You can also insert charts, smart art, or shapes. This is something that kind of comes in handy if I want to put a shape in right here. Maybe I'm making a document and this is really important to my document. I can change the style, I can change the outline. So once you click on one of these, it kind of gives you a lot of different options on what you want it to look like. I can also screenshot. I can insert a screen clipping from something that I screenshotted before. I can also add a header and a footer. These are very important, especially if you're doing a long research paper, to have a header on there. That way it would be helpful for your professor to know, okay, this person, it's, the paper of this person and the paper is about this. So I might put my name here and research paper here, and what class I'm in. So now on every page of my document, it will have the header. The same goes for the footer. This might be something if you prefer to have that information on the bottom. You can also add page numbers, however you want to do that, top of the page, bottom of the page. So if I add one to the bottom of every page, I can also adjust where it is from the top or from the bottom of the page. I would close it. So now on my document, I have page numbers. You can also insert text boxes here in WordArt. As for page layout, so the margins, the normal margins are 1 inch margins throughout your whole document. If you want to fit it all on one page, you can narrow your margins. You can choose all of these, and this gives you kind of an understanding of what that will look like. The orientation, this just means whichever way you hold the paper. So if it's an 8.5 by 11 paper that you're doing, portrait is holding it up and down as usual. Landscape would be turning it to the side so that the 8.5 inches goes to up and down. This would change the size paper that you're using. And this is how you would put different columns in here. So say you're making something that looks, similar to a newspaper. You can add different columns. Again, page breaks that we talked about. You can add a watermark to the back if you want to add that this is a confidential document. You can add that to the back of your document. You can also change the page colors here. And if you wanted to put a border on the document as well, you can do that here. Here is where you would indent your wording, and this is where you can change the spacing between lines. Mailings, we'll talk about mail merge at a later date, but if you have a list of people that you're inviting to a party, you can actually just start a mail merge, and you can have all of the addresses in a separate document, and you can mail merge. This is also really great for business letters if you're trying to send out the same letter to different people. This is where you would do that. This also can make labels and envelopes. So if you wanted to make a specific label that you might buy at Staples, you can actually come here and you can select exactly what label it was that you bought by whatever company it was, and then you can click on the product number and a new document, and when this prints out, it will print out all of the different labels. The review, you'll be seeing this in another video that we do for track changes. As for here, this is the spelling and grammar. This is research if you want to add some sort of information through a dictionary or an encyclopedia. You can search through that there. Thesaurus, this can suggest other words for something that you've already typed. So if I want to change this, I can also right click and I can look up synonyms for whatever word it is that I've highlighted. This is also where you do the word count. Again, the word count can also be found down here. The view just shows you the different ways that you can see this document on your computer. You can also split the screen so that you have two different screens going at the same time. You can view them side by side, and then you can also scroll synchronously or not. Again, if I right click, I can also cut, copy, or paste anything that I've right clicked. The home page bar right here also shows up if I right click. I can do most of the options that I can do from the home page. I can also do if I right click. And that is it for the general settings of Microsoft Word. Thank you.